The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for Kenzie Krimes, and she's going to deliver this right to you. Dreams matter.
Dreams matter.
That's the theme of today's crime in Chicago or the Illinois area. Now, me and Case know nothing about it. Kenzie brings these in, and then she will say something like, have you heard of this? And sometimes we have, sometimes we haven't. But definitely, when you're done with this whole feature, I definitely know incredibly more than what I thought about, even if I know a little bit about it. You know what I mean? So,
well, let's find out if you know anything about.
Let's find out.
Do you know who Teresita Basa is?
One more time.
Teresita Basa.
I do not.
And if I'm saying it wrong, I'm saying it wrong. So deal with it.
Say it one more time.
It's actually Mike Fredericks.
Listen, here's the deal. I'm a big phonetical person. You know what I mean?
That's what they say about you.
If you're going to write it that way, I'm going to say it that way.
Can you spell it?
It's Teresita. Teresita.
Teresita, okay, I believe you.
Basa, B-A-S-A.
Basa, I think you're right.
Or Bosa.
Oh, Bosa would be B-O-S-A.
Related to Joey Bosa.
Phonetically.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know who Teresita Basa is, so I can't wait to find out.
I don't either, so this is it. Let's go.
Okay, let's learn a little bit about Teresita, okay? Teresita Basa was born in 1929 in the Philippines, actually. And she packed her bags and moved to the United States in 1960. So Teresita picked Chicago specifically because, much like you, Brian, her passion was music. She wanted to study music.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why she moved here.
I like her already.
Now, she, like a lot of us also, she ended up on a very different path. You know how we pick things, then we end up in a different job completely.
Right.
And she ended up as a respiratory therapist at Edgewater Hospital in Chicago.
Okay.
She had a boyfriend. She really lived a very calm life and was described by many people as quiet, unassuming, and the last person you would expect to be the victim of a violent crime.
Oh, boy.
Now, I will say they must have did that description afterwards because you sound guilty. If that's how you describe somebody, like, I don't think a crime would happen to them. Right? I was like, there's no way people were just casually saying, like, I don't think a violent thing's going to happen to her. Okay.
I don't think anybody says that about anybody else ever. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's going to happen to that person.
Yeah.
That's such a funny descriptor. Like, oh, what's Kenzie like? Oh, she's really nice. She's really funny. Nothing bad would ever happen to her.
Well, you know for sure bad things would happen to me, though. So
Well, especially if I present it like that. All of a sudden, look over your shoulder.
Yeah.
like, if one of us is getting mugged, it's me.
You think?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
tall.
with her there.
Yeah, you're tall,
I have
Brian.
to jump high to get the ether mask over my mouth.
Like, you're not strong, but somebody may think you are.
That's 100% correct. I've never been in a real fight in my life, but I've talked
We
about
can change that.
I've gotten in people's faces about it, and they've backed down because they think I can fight.
Yeah.
And I can't.
No one knows. This is Give a Chicken with you. Oh, good Lord.
Oh.
Okay. Anywho. So, really quiet, really just calm life, working at the hospital, very respectful woman. And on February 21st, 1977, unfortunately, that description would prove untrue. As the fire department responded to a call to Teresita's apartment because it was engulfed in flames.
Oof.
Right?
That's horrible.
So as the firefighters were putting out the fire and like going through, you go into the building. They have that luxury of a job. They found Teresita unclothed under a mattress with a dagger in her chest.
Oh, my God.
Very, very odd. And immediately investigators believed the fire was a setup to try to hide the crime scene.
Sure.
Now, an autopsy proved, because you may think, the unclothed part seems very schmexual, perchance. It was not.
Is that a clinical term?
Yes.
Schmexual?
Well, that's what the police report said. It wasn't schmexual.
It was not schmexual, okay? So that's what the autopsy proved. And this really, really, really threw the officers because now they're like, what is the motive of this? Like, just murder? This didn't occur, right? Like the kind of the obvious one when someone's like unclothed or partly clothed or something like that. That didn't happen. Like, she works at a hospital. Like, they were just baffled, right?
Yeah.
Lives alone, works at a hospital. There was just nothing about a motive. There was also almost no evidence of anything really besides her body. except there was a memo that I can't believe didn't get burned up, but it really leaked out. And the memo said, get theater tickets for A.S. As in like initials. So get theater tickets for AS.
She had a post-it note in the apartment that survived it, basically?
Yeah. Was this the only thing? Like, they didn't know. So it's like, okay, there's somebody, but also, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how misleading. Like, okay, that could have nothing to do with it.
I mean, just off the top of my head, she didn't get Hamilton tickets, and the guy killed her for not getting those tickets.
I don't think Hamilton was on and poppin'.
Oh, that's right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're right. In the 20s, this is? Yeah.
Well, she moved here in the 1960s.
It was 1970. Yeah.
1977.
My bad. Hamilton was not around.
Try to pay attention.
Sorry,
I put in a lot of work. You don't even remember the year already.
Okay.
Keep up, Brian.
70s. Got it.
So the cops pursued leads and kind of the lack thereof, to be honest. They did the best they could. They even had to follow up with Teresita's boyfriend. And the biggest thing that they had on him was people said that they've seen them argue before. Like that was the extent of their leads. Now they wanted to know who AS was, but the initials meant nothing to them. I'm going to pause there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Because what really gets interesting is how this is solved. That is the juiciest part of this.
Wow. Okay.
How this is solved, because you're just like dead end, body, really unassuming girl. And it's almost supernatural how this ends up being solved.
Ooh.
I was mind blown.
Brian, make that sound again.
Ooh.
Scooby-Doo over there.
I can't wait. This is good. And just about 2.5 minutes is all you're going to know to wait to find out.
Yes.
What happened
2.5
here.
minutes, and you get a real resolution. This is not an up-in-the-air resolution. It is a solved crime.
And dreams matter as your tease on
Dreams
this.
matter.
Okay, stay here.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 and Kenzie Krimes slayed out an incredible scenario that's happened to someone back in the day here in Chicago. And I'll let you just take it from there as far as a little quick recap
Yeah.
and then the conclusion, which Kenzie said will be an absolute conclusion on this one.
This is the wildest conclusion you've ever heard to a crime case. I guarantee it. So,
Love it.
Teresita Basa was born in 1929 in the Philippines, moved to the United States in 1960, specifically to Chicago to study music, but ended up working at Edgewater Hospital. Her body was found as her apartment was on fire February 21st, 1977. She was found unclothed, the mattress on top of her, a dagger in her chest, but there proved to be no foul play on the unclothed action, and they really had no leads or understanding as to why this happened. She was just a really quiet to herself person, right? The only thing that they found that could be a lead, but also still quite a leap, right, is a little memo she had written in her own apartment that said, get theater tickets for AS. A.S. like as an initial.
Sure.
Okay. And that was it. I mean, they questioned her boyfriend simply because that was the biggest lead they had, a relationship, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay, biggest lead they had would be that because somebody said that they saw them argue before.
Good Lord. If
I mean, that's how bad, that's how bottom in the barrel this was, though, right?
everybody's a murderer in Chicago then because everybody's arguing with their significant
We'd be
other.
arguing, you know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Okay. Listen, my husband did it, though. Like, what is fair?
Kenzie always said, if you end up in the pond, I'll back.
Period. I know he did it. I know it. I already know it. Sometimes I look into his eyes when we're talking, and I'm like, you'd kill me right now. I know it.
But I feel like he probably sees the same look in your eyes.
No, for sure. We definitely kill each other.
Yeah, if he ends up in the pond, you're not going to be here.
No, yeah. No, we
Kenzie, can you do the show from jail?
set me up with that Comrex, baby.
Yeah, we proved last week you can do it anywhere, so there you go. All right.
Okay. So now, really, the case sat kind of dormant. So more than 5 months later, Teresita's case sat unsolved. Again, really dormant because there's just nothing there, right? Until a coworker named Remy, who worked with her coworker, and her husband, Joe, who were also Filipino natives, contacted the detective, Joe Statula. I think it's how you say it. You know me and names, y'all. Statula, Stachula, statula, right?
As in, use the statula to flip over the burger.
All right, so I'm going to try to keep this the least confusing as possible because her husband's name's Joe, and so is the detective. So I'm going to say statula and her husband a lot. Okay. All right. They contacted the detective, Statula, and claimed to have information about the murder. Out of the blue, all of a sudden, a coworker has information, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is why there was a pause from this information. Remy, the friend who was her coworker, had been having visions and dreams in which Teresita appeared to her, begging for her to go to the police and say what happened.
Whoa.
Now, one day, Remy took a nap, and according to her husband, Joe, so his wife is Remy, right? She woke up and began speaking in a different voice.
What?
The voice claimed that was coming from Remy's body that she was Teresita. Okay?
Whoa.
And she said that her killer's name was Alan Showery.
Oh, the AS on the note.
AS, Alan
on the
Showery.
theater tickets note.
Good pull, Brian.
There you go.
I'm
Thanks
paying
for
attention.
finally paying attention.
Like Matlock over here. Put it all together.
The voice then claimed that Alan, maybe Showery, whatever. The voice then claimed that he was an orderly at the hospital that they worked at and begged Joe to go to the police. Okay?
Yep.
When Remy woke up, she had no memory of this. When her husband was just like, okay, it was just kind of weird, and I didn't know what to do with it. That's not a lot to stand on. My wife spoke to me in a dream. He didn't know what to say, okay? It happened to him a second time later.
What?
The voice came back, once again, coming out of his wife's mouth while she was asleep, and she questioned Joe and said, why did you never go to the police? The voice.
Yeah.
He's probably like, Jesus, my wife's finally sleeping and I'm still getting yelled at.
God forbid.
Oh my God.
Can I get just some alone time for a second? God.
Oh my God. He said back to the voice, he responded because this time the voice claiming I am Teresita asked a question, right? And he said, I don't have evidence or a motive. Like, I'm just supposed to say this man killed you. And the voice, as Teresita said, Alan Showery took my jewelry and gave it to his own girlfriend. Gave him the what happened, the motive, the name, the motive, and what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
So they finally went to the detective. They're like, let's just tell him. This is so weird that you don't remember this. The initials match up. Like this is crazy, right? We'll just put that information out there. So they contact Statula, and he didn't. I don't make up their names.
I know. It's an all name show here.
Scooping up the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. He's flipping it on you. Okay. So anyways, he didn't know if he could trust this information for obvious reasons, right? So he decided to do a background check on Showery. He found that Showery lived very close to Teresita. And coworkers confirmed that he was planning to go to her apartment that night to repair her television. Statula brought Showery in for questioning. He confirmed that he went to her apartment to repair the television, but he said that he didn't have all the correct tools, like when he got there and figured out what was wrong. So he went back home and that was it. He didn't have the stuff to fix it, okay? Statula did not believe it. For, obvious reasons. He's like, wait, this is actually panning out. This is nuts.
Right.
So he contacted, unbeknownst to Mr. Alan Showery, he contacted Showery's girlfriend. Okay?
Yeah.
And he asked if he had given her any jewelry recently. And she said that he had. And she agreed to let Teresita's friends and family inspect it. And they confirmed some of the jewelry was Teresita's.
Oh, no.
Be your own girl. You go out of your way.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now,
wearing a dead girl's jewelry.
right? Isn't that crazy? Like to think, you think you get this present. Oh my gosh. Anyways.
Oh, you'd be so pissed.
Oh, I'd be so mad.
You wouldn't even care about the dead person. you would just be
I mean,
mad.
did you sleep with her?
Wait, do I got to give this back? Wait, who's this dead bitch?
You know those words are leaving Kenzie's mouth. Who's this dead bitch?
This is an ex-girlfriend.
Did you take her to the Berghoff? Come on.
Stop it.
Because this spatula, I swear to God, if it was spatula.
Oh, no. He's so mad.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Anyways.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so they confirmed some of it was Teresita's. So the agent, Statula, confronted Shory with the evidence, and he confessed to Teresita's murder.
Whoa.
He said that after he left her apartment, he made a plan to return and rob her. So when he returned, in Teresita's mind, with the correct tools,
Yeah.
that's the part that he left out. When he turned to the correct tools, she went. This breaks my heart. She turned around to lock the door.
Oh.
And that's when he attacked her.
Oh.
So here she is trying to be safe and thinking she let in a friend.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, the note said get theater tickets for AS. Clearly as like a go get him something as a thank you for fixing your teeth. Like she wanted to do something for him.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah, so sweet, just locking her door. It makes me so angry. But when she turned around, that is when he attacked her. And he did disrobe her to make it look like the crime was schmexual. So that way they weren't looking for jewelry or that. So he actually did all that to hide,
Make it look like that instead of a plain old
like
robbery.
that would be the motive.
Yeah.
Is what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
So after he disrobed her, he then took the mattress and placed it over her body, and then he set her apartment on fire. All for some jewelry.
God. What an a-hole.
I'm like, right.
I agree.
And like, not to be like, you shouldn't do anything illegal, but like, why not just like steal jewelry from a store?
Or get some CZs.
Like, if you're gonna do something, like at least like I don't even know what that means.
Cubic zirconium.
Oh.
A cheapo stuff.
You have slang for your cheap ass jewelry.
That's how bad of a gift giver he is.
a lot of the hip hop guys use that to CZs.
No, they don't. They talk about real jewelry.
No, they talk about giving CZs when they don't want to give the real
They talk
jewelry.
about VVSs because it's like nice.
What's VVS? Is that a
That's
brand?
like quality of diamond.
I only,
And they've never
brand.
dropped
I
CZs.
only know about CZs.
I know. Okay.
Sorry, Megan.
So now, despite his confession, he admitted to all of that, right? He then goes on to plead not guilty in court for Teresita's
Oh, they
murder.
always do that. They'll confess and then they say, oh, they pressured me.
So it was a really long court case. It led to a mistrial. And then he went back and pled guilty February 23rd, 1979. So really almost on the anniversary because the murder occurred February 21st, 1977. So several years later, finally, almost to the day, pleads guilty. And he only received a 14-year sentence. And he was released on parole in 1983.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
so
wait,
he
wait.
pled guilty.
He only spent 4 years?
He got out on parole. Out on parole in 1983. He was sentenced in 1979.
It was like premeditated. That's like almost, first-degree murder because he went there to kill her,
Right.
pretty much.
Yeah, for jewelry.
What?
Yes.
Damn legal system's terrible.
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah. Should have been killed.
They had zero leads, didn't know who this guy was, didn't realize that a few pieces of jewelry were missing in her whole house because they didn't get to look at it prior. All of that came to somebody in a dream and said
Wow.
what happened. I mean, how insane. That's how they solved this.
Did that person just go on? Well, you don't know this necessarily, but I mean, that person just went on living their life after that happened. Like,
Yeah.
anything weird happened to her again, I wonder.
She was just, she was her coworker, so she continued to work in the hospital.
Well, I'm glad it was solved, but what a weak
I know.
punishment.
Because honestly, 14 years is already low. And then you
Yeah.
get out on parole in 1983.
And what do they say? Good behavior, probably.
How can you be that bad in prison?
Did he,
That's what I want to
did
know.
he fix everybody's TV in their cell?
It's like, what, would he stay asleep till
Yeah.
8 o'clock? Like, how can you be that bad?
Fix the.
Bad behavior and good behavior in prison the concept confuses me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you don't shank anybody, so you're good.
You didn't murder anybody
Yeah,
else. while you were there?
you're good. And he fixed the warden's TV.
And you're like, well, you
Probably.
got really into reading. It's
Yeah.
like, okay.
You're a bookworm.
That sucks.
He's reading OJ's If I Had Done It. It's like, it
Well, thank you. Kenzie's Krimes right there for you. And if you missed any, like you came in maybe just right now, it'll be on the podcast at Q101.com, the Brian and Kenzie podcast. So you hear the beginning of it and see how it all played out.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Case, they're always on their own separate podcast. So you don't have to like fast forward through to find it or anything, right?
No, it's really simple. You're going to go to the Q101 Morning Crew podcast in just a few minutes. It's the one that says Kenzie's Crime. You listen to that one start to finish. All of a sudden, you have your own true crime story for the day all taken care of.
Period.
Boom. All right, so here we got coming up here in 12 minutes, another chance to see Blink-182 in Miami get a trip at 9 a.m. We'll have the keyword for you, and it also gets you $100 just for qualifying.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.